conversation, other testimonies time, more of an interactive moment next Sunday. Everyone shall just speak. The beauty of speaking them is that this thing gets to be fully established in your life. They are attached completely into you. So when you speak about them, means that you have announced them in the realms of all existence. That this one is my damnation, this one is my encounter. So it means that there cannot be any encounter for you. Because now this one is mine. I've announced it in the spirit. So when you see the Bible says in Revelation 12:11 that and they overcoming by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimonies. They overcome him even by the testimony itself. So it tells you that where the blood is, there's a testimony that begins to accompany the same. So when you testify, you stamp that which the blood has done for you. So that when that whom steals the testimonies of men, that who steals the testimonies of men comes, it shall be recorded that this thing I spoke of it. So this one was mine. So what you speak, you begin to attach yourself completely to it. If the dimension means that this dimension, what I've felt today with God, how I feel with God today, my body, my spirit, my soul, if I speak of it, then I have established myself into it. That is mine. So I cannot go below that. Either I maintain it or I go higher, because I have already given an encounter with the same. So by my pronouncements, what I engage with God, by my relation with Him, based on my interaction, that which I spoke has been established, and it is so. Because what was given to our mouth that men must testify is that the reason why we must testify that out of our mouth we are given that potential, the ability to be able to create. So what you speak, you create it. So out of my experience with God and what God has done to me, if I give it out as a testimony, then it means that how it happened to me, I have created it eternally. I've given it eternal foundation. So it is there in my life eternally. So when a man begins to confess that me, I'm poor, I'm sick, then that sickness becomes their own household. They begin to dwell within the umbrella of what they created. But now when a man begins to speak that me, I'm full of life, I'm full of God, I'm full of all these things, or begin to say that now, that day that I was having a moment with the Lord took me this place, I saw this, there were these things. The moment I begin to speak of it, I begin to create an umbrella of my encounters. So by creating the umbrella of the encounters, these are testimonies, these are the maneuverings in the spirit. So when I create that umbrella, so it means that I begin to function into that always. So I'm trying to tell you that whatever God does to you, and whatever experience you have with God, whether you see angels, whatever thing happens to you, please have the attitude, have the art, have the character, have the ability, have this thing of always trying to shine. That goes out as a testimony. And how you speak it, it begins to create an umbrella. So if God, for instance, today has delivered you from financial constraints, means that deliverance of financial constraints means that He has ushered me into what? Abundance. So that abundance, I begin to function within that umbrella. If, for example, God has given me rest today, and now that rest, I begin to experience it, I create an umbrella of it by the words of my testimony. Because now He has done it to you. And then the devil, because he's a subtle one, he will have to come to test that which the Lord has done it to. So the test that the enemy will come with is that he will have to come to try to snatch it away, or he will come to try to shut it down, or he will come to try to confuse everything. And that is whereby you stand by the word of your testimony. So they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb. So the blood sets you free. Then the word of your testimony begins to establish you into that which the blood has done for you. So that's why salvation also comes by us, first of all, believing in the heart. So it doesn't just end there. Yet, believing in that is more powerful. So it doesn't end at believing in that, but now, so that now believe in your heart and do what? Confess with your mouth. So by believing in my mouth, I begin to confess. Means that I begin to create an umbrella of my salvation. So when I begin to walk outside there, because them that are there outside, they are equally spirits. Those men are also what? Spirits. So the umbrella I've created, please listen to this. The umbrella I've created, the men who are outside there and they are listening to me, since they are spirit, they are able to sense, they are able to feel it, that this one is not of us. This one is born of God. So you are with them, but they start calling you a Christian. How? You are with your friends. You used to go for this bash and enjoy life, but this time round you join them equally, like normal business. But they start asking you, are you still with us? Because they don't feel the atmosphere within you anymore. They can sense that which you entered into. I get me. That's why it's important to speak. Because what you speak is what you say. What you say is what you say. So learn to speak. When trouble comes, you don't sit down and begin to cry. You don't sit down and begin to hope upon men. Men will not help you. Because the Bible says that cursed is it that their hope or their faith is on men. So God says that believe it in men. So if you believe in a man, according to the dictates of the Spirit, you are cast. Because the one to be believed into is God. That is why your fellow man, you don't have to believe in them. You don't have to trust them. So there's a language of trust and belief. What I need to do with my fellow man is to trust on them. So however much I may convict myself that I believe in you, I will believe in you in the sense that you are able to do that which you are about to do. In other words, you want to do exams and say, I believe in you can pass. Not that I believe in you that you will help me. The help that has come unto all men is from God, including the one that is helping you is the help of God. So that is why your words begin to create. God didn't just create by taking his work on his hands and create until it got to Genesis 2:7 is when we now see God making things by his hand. By taking the dust of the ground and forming this man. But all along from Genesis chapter 1, we said that now in the beginning, God created. That time he spoke by the word of mouth that let there be. So speech from the beginning was not for stories, was not for communication. The intention of speech from the foundation was creation. The first time we heard of speech was when God said, let there be. So he didn't use the speech to have stories. In fact, the time where we are God having communication within himself is when we go to Genesis chapter 1, verse 26 now. That goes now, let us. Now they are starting to talk that now I think we need to create our own. So that time they begin to have communication. But from verse chapter 1, verse 1 going down, the only thing we hear is not that let us talk. No, it's God said let there be. So the purpose and the intention of speech is to be mudomo. That thing that you have to use for stories, use for gossiping, use to hate people, use to praise your politician, to praise your football team, to praise all these things, to seduce your girlfriends and boyfriends. That thing was not for that purpose. The intention, that is the secondary purpose. The intention was that this thing was meant to create. So what I speak by the words of my mouth begins to create. For that reason,